April 6, 2003. The sky above Baghdad is a swirling wall of dust and chaos. Two A-10 Thunderbolt IIs, better known as Warthogs, slice through the haze, their engines growling like thunder. In the lead cockpit sits Lieutenant Colonel Raymond Donk Strasburger, a veteran pilot with ice in his veins. Flying at his wing is Captain Greg Billy Bob Thornton, younger, sharp, and equally fearless. Their mission seems simple on paper, a reconnaissance flight to support the coalition forces pressing into Baghdad. But on this day, nothing in Iraq is simple. Below them, the world has vanished beneath a storm of sand. The horizon, the ground, the city, all swallowed by the golden blur of a desert tempest. The two pilots circle, straining to spot the fight they know is raging below. Then a voice crackles through their radios. It's First Lieutenant John Coke Blocker, a friend on the ground. And his tone is grim. Task Force 2-69 is pinned down at Muthanna Bridge. Heavy fire from across the river. We can't hold much longer. Through the static and wind, Donk and Billy Bob can hear the gunfire and explosions behind his words. If they cross that bridge, it's over for us. We need help now. Donk glances toward his wingman. You ready? Billy Bob exhales, grips the stick. Always. And with that, both A-10s roll over and dive straight into the sandstorm. Visibility drops to nearly zero. The two aircraft are flying blind through a wall of dust and fire. On the ground, Iraqi infantry surge forward from their hiding spots, unleashing a hail of bullets toward the exhausted American troops. Coke takes cover behind a destroyed Humvee, dust and debris raining down as he shouts into his radio. Donk, we need you right now. I mean right now. Above him, through the orange haze, the silhouettes of Baghdad's buildings begin to appear. What a lovely day, Donk mutters darkly as the Tigris River snakes into view. Both A-10s drop lower, following the river north, toward the bridge. Below, Coke fires back at the muzzle flashes lighting up the smoke. He keeps one eye on the fight, one on his radio. I confirm, no friendlies east of the bridge. He's fighting two battles. One with his rifle, the other through the headset. Break left! Donk commands. Billy Bob banks away, giving Donk space to make his run. The bridge finally emerges through the storm, shrouded in chaos and flame. Donk pulls on the stick, roaring over the battlefield as anti-aircraft tracers streak past. He peers back but sees only haze and explosions. He needs to mark the target so Coke can confirm his position. I'm dropping a mark. He switches to his smoke rockets, lines up with the bridge, then pulls the trigger. Nothing. Damn it. The rockets have malfunctioned. He's seconds away from overshooting the target. Thinking fast, he hits the flare release. Bright pyrotechnics rain down along the riverbank, burning red through the storm. We are getting AAA fire, and I see the tank. Donk radios. Request clearance in when able. On the ground, Coke spots the glowing flares through the chaos. You're clear to engage. Donk smiles grimly. Copy that. Donk banks hard, circling for a second attack run. Iraqi anti-aircraft guns roar to life. 23mm cannons hurling tracer fire into the sky. Streams of glowing rounds climb like fiery serpents crisscrossing the air. Shorter bursts. Donk yells over the radio. Got it. Billy Bob replies. Tracers whip past Donk's wings, but he presses on. He spots the enemy armor below, a line of tanks and armored vehicles firing toward the river. A BMP is racing for the bridge. Donk locks his aim and squeezes the trigger. The terrifying growl of the GAU-8 Avenger cannon echoes through the clouds. A storm of 30mm shells rains down, shredding the armored vehicle to pieces. Donk pulls up hard, the earth flashing beneath him, tracer fire chasing his tail as he escapes toward the west. I've got tanks on the circle, Bob. Then alarms. Red lights flood his dashboard. Donk thinks he's been hit. He steadies the aircraft, checking his systems. Fuel steady. Engines fine. The plane flies true, but his targeting reticle, they gone. The ballistics computer is dead, damn it. Computer's out. He clears the master alarm and decides to go old school. Billy Bob, you're up. Billy Bob rolls into his dive, punching through the storm. The battlefield comes into view, and through the haze he spots his first target. A hulking T-72 main battle tank. D-Mob 7-2 and hot from the south. He lines it up and opens fire. The GAU-8 roars again, thousands of rounds per minute slamming into the tank's armor. The T-72 erupts in a shower of sparks and flames, smoke billowing from its hatches. Got that sucker. West edge of the circle. Above, Donk tries rebooting his system, but it's useless. He stares at the blank HUD, then grins. Guess I'll do it the old-fashioned way. He dives in with only a simple crosshair to guide him. Tracers slice through the air as Donk strafes the enemy lines, unleashing a furious stream of fire. He doesn't know if he's hitting anything, but the enemy definitely knows he's there. Cleared hot. Billy Bob races in for another pass, flipping his aircraft upside down to spot more targets. He finds them, a gun emplacement, a supply convoy, and another tank firing across the river. He wants to destroy the guns first, but those tanks pose the real danger to Coke's men. I've got a second T-72 east of the roundabout. Am I clear to go back in? You're clear back in, Donk confirms. While Billy Bob prepares for his next strike, Donk checks their gauges. Their fuel is low, dangerously low. They've reached bingo fuel, the minimum they need to return home. But retreat isn't an option. Not yet. I'm recalculating bingo, Donk mutters. He quickly estimates distance and burn rate in his head. If they stretch it, they can stay a little longer. Revise bingo down by 500 pounds, he radios. Copy that. Billy Bob dives again, tracing the river through the haze. The enemy fire intensifies, but he stays on course. He lines up on the second T-72 and opens fire. The Warthog's armor-piercing rounds tear through the tank's roof. In seconds, it explodes into a blazing fireball. Billy Bob circles for another run, eyes on a line of enemy supply trucks. He never sees the lone Iraqi soldier aiming a shoulder-mounted missile launcher. A flash of white smoke erupts. The missile streaks into the air. It misses by mere feet, screaming past Billy Bob's wing. Missile, missile. Break right! He banks hard, pulling away, adrenaline flooding his chest. You all right? Donk asks. Yeah, Billy Bob replies, catching his breath. Still in it. He swings back around, rage burning in his gut. The supply trucks reappear below, and he unleashes another deadly burst. Flames rip across the convoy as fuel and ammunition ignite. Got the trucks. Copy that, Donk replies. My turn. Donk still doesn't have his targeting system, but he switches to his Maverick missiles and opens the camera feed. The screen flickers with static, visibility is near zero. He has seconds to lock a target. Through the interference, the shape of a BMP appears. Target acquired. He fires. The missile shoots off the rail, makes a sharp turn and slams into the BMP. A massive fireball erupts, lighting the storm like lightning. Below, the Iraqi forces finally begin to falter. The relentless roar of the Warthogs breaks their morale. Tanks burn, soldiers scatter, and artillery falls silent. The enemy's pulling back. Coke's voice cheers over the radio. You're doing great work up there. For the first time in hours, hope breaks through the smoke. But the fight isn't over. New flashes of AAA light up the sky. The Iraqis are desperate, firing blindly into the storm. Bob, one more run. Let's finish those guns. Hell, it's about time. Billy Bob laughs. He rolls in, locking onto the anti-aircraft battery that had haunted them since the first run. The GAU-8 growls again. The gun emplacement vanishes in a storm of explosions. He pulls up, tracers chasing his wings as he escapes west. Above, Donk spots a second anti-aircraft gun opening fire. D-Mob 7-1 coming in from the south, he calls out. Coke's voice comes through, smiling despite the chaos. You're making the battalion commander real happy right now. Keep it up, but be safe. Donk dives once more, unleashing a brutal burst that silences the final gun. The battlefield goes quiet. Coke, we're at bingo. How copy? Copy that. Another flight's inbound to relieve you. Great work, both of you. When we're home, drinks are on me. Donk laughs. Copy that, Coke. Good luck down there. After 40 relentless minutes of battle, the two A-10s turn west, disappearing back into the storm. On the ground, the surviving soldiers of Task Force 2-69 rise from the dirt, exhausted but alive. They've held the bridge because two pilots refused to give up. Lieutenant Colonel Raymond, Donk, Strasburger and Captain Greg, Billy Bob, Thornton were both later awarded the Silver Star for their courage and skill under impossible conditions. Their friend John Coke, Blocker, who coordinated from the ground under fire, received the Bronze Star and the Air Force Commendation Medal for valor. They all survived the war. Heroes in each one. We did what we could, Donk would later say, his voice quiet. But it never feels like enough. The skies above Baghdad that day bore witness to one of the fiercest close air support missions in modern history, a testament to bravery, precision, and the unbreakable bond between soldiers on the ground and the pilots who watch over them. And as the Warthogs disappeared into the burning horizon, they left behind not just silence, but survival. If you thought this was intense, wait until you hear what happened when MiG fighters nearly intercepted U.S. F-15s in 1991. Watch that story next.